How you doing, folks? So, I am going to cover a new movie, a topic, a favorite of mine, one that is one might say, fucking perfect movie. A classic, one might even call it. A vampire classic, a misunderstood drama, crime, thriller, horror movie starring George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, and Julia Lewis. Is it Julia Lewis? Julia Lewis. Sorry. I believe Julia Lewis from the Christmas Vacation, the movie, I think. And Harvey Keitel, who everyone seems to love, and I like him. He's a good actor, as well as Tom Savini in there. You have little things in there. Tom Savini, and there was Fred Williamson from Original Gangstas. I said that right, Gangstas. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking something up right now. Sorry. Yeah, Julia Lewis, who's the daughter of Harvey Keitel. It's hard to pronounce his name. I don't quite know how it's done, but yeah, she's a daughter of him, and he's got a Chinese kid, but he's not. He's blood related, but I guess maybe different mother. Um, Again, sorry. I am sorry. I I don't want to be disrespectful. I have an itch. Sorry. Um, like I was looking, I'm looking up the info because I don't want to get too much wrong. But I know a majority. I know Fred Williamson's in it. You see him at the end there in the finale, and you got a nice cameo with Tom Savini, who worked on most of the gore makeup and the vampire makeup, I believe. Which I'm not quite certain, but I believe that Quentin Tarantino, he worked on the first half, and I believe Robert Rodriguez worked on the third half, the last half, with the vampires in the bar and everything like that. But just to make sure, look up some info. I think I'm right, but I'm mostly right. But because the first half feels a hell of a lot more like a Tarantino film than a Robert Rodriguez film. Um, from Dusk Till Dawn, 1996, starring George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. And I gotta say, one of the sellers of this film is the performance of George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, Richie, together as brothers, as these sort of crime lords, as sort of criminal brothers, bank robbers, thieves, crooks. It's done very well. And of course, you got Selma Hayek in there, which everyone seems to remember very as well as Danny Trejo, who is the bartender of the bar filled with vampires. And Tom Savini, of course, the sex machine. Tom Savini, the sex machine. Harvey Keitel. He was good in this film. Sorry, he was very good in this film. Sorry if you hear a loud noise in the background. People won't shut the fuck up. But um, Harvey Keitel. Yeah, he's the father of the girl and the boy. I believe. It is him, right? It's him. Yeah, it's him. I do like his acting. I think that he gives Seth, our character played by George Clooney, a very memorable. I don't want to say vendetta. He gives him a challenge. Like he challenges George Clooney's character quite a bit. Like when they're in the bar and they're drinking, he's like, "Are you that much of a loser that you can't tell when you've won?" Seth looks at him. He's like, "What'd you call me?" He's like, "I didn't ask you. I didn't call you anything. I asked a question. I I I made a statement. I did not. I did. Are you that much of a loser that you don't know when you've won?" And you could see in Seth's eyes, the character played by George Clooney, that he sort of respects him. So there was a little bit of respect in there, and you could see that he respects him, and that was very endearing, memorable, and I just found that fun. I love the back and forth between George Clooney and Harvey Keitel, and the back and forth between George Clooney's character and Quentin Tarantino, because it was fun. It was like, and he knows his brother is sick and is psycho and twisted. He kills a lady, which you could see that George Clooney's character Seth, he leaves the girl with his brother Richie, Quentin Tarantino's character, and he goes to pick up a few burgers. He comes back with a burger, a few burgers for him and his brother, and he's got one for the girl. And he asks his brother Richie, he's like, "Richie, where is she? Where's the hostage?" Then she's in the room and she's dead. So Richie killed her, and he's a fucking psychopath. He's fucking crazy in this movie, and Seth knows it. He knows it. He he's got an extra burger. Of course, he can't give it to her, but at least they have an extra burger. I mean, um, that's not funny, probably. Sorry, but his face is haunting. The acting is haunting. Like when we find out what Richie did to this girl when he's gone getting food for them, so they have the energy to move elsewhere. It's haunting. He opens up the door. He's like, "Richie, where's the hostage?" He opens up the door, and there she is. She's dead. She's raped. They show like some nice camera visuals. Like it'll be like a quick flash of her body and the blood and everything, and it doesn't show the whole thing, but it's like a quick flash, and then back to them. like a flicker of a image, and I thought that was done very well, and it was done well. Seth's face is haunting, very haunting. It's just like, what the hell, man? What is my brother? I can't fix him. I can't do anything about it. Clearly, I can't give him a little fucking lobotomy with the fucking pretzel stick. I don't fucking know. But you could definitely tell that the first half is Quentin Tarantino's work. You could tell. Um, and of course, Pulp Fiction. What was it? It was the burgers. The burgers were from the place in Pulp Fiction. I forget that the name of that burger joint. Big Kahuna. That's right, Big Kahuna. That was funny. So, Pulp Fiction, you got the same cheeseburgers from Pulp Fiction in this scene. If you didn't notice that little gimmick, Seth comes in with cheeseburgers and they're Big Kahuna cheeseburgers. I thought that was kind of clever. Um, he kills the girl. Seth, I mean not Seth. I'm getting out of. I thought that was a funny detail. I had to mention it. But his brother kills the girl when he's gone, getting food for them, because you could tell that his brother is like out of it. He's mentally ill. He's not stable. He's a deranged psychopath, sociopath. He's perverted. He raped the girl. He killed her when he was gone, and for all good reasons, Seth did not like it. So Seth sees it, and his face is just haunting. You could see a lot of good acting from George Clooney right here. In this moment, there's a lot of good acting. He throws his brother Richie against the wall. He's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Is it me? Is it me? Did I make you this way? Did I make you this fucking way? I am not a killer. I do not rape women. I am a professional fucking thief." Something along those lines. Puts him against the wall. He threatens him a little bit. Say, "Yes, Seth, I understand you." Something like that. And he does. He's scared of him. You could tell he's scared of Seth. So he still respects him. He's definitely the little brother. Like, if I were to question which one's the older brother and which one's the younger brother, I'd say Seth is by far the older brother. He's got more power here. You could tell that he fears him a little bit. He respects him. Mostly fear. Um, which George Clooney knocks this out of the fucking park. He knocks this role so far out of the fucking park. So far. He does such a good job in this role. I can't remember another time where I truly respected George Clooney, given Batman fucking shit pants. Sorry, I don't know where my head was, but From Dusk Till Dawn is a masterpiece. From the performances between George Clooney and his brother Richie, played by Quentin Tarantino himself, and Julia Lewis in there, and the son, the Chinese son. He's kind of just there. he doesn't really do anything memorable that you'll remember. He's forgettable. He won't. He. It's not that the actor did a bad job, but the script. There was nothing on the page for him that made him memorable, other than a moment when he's um, driving the trailer through the border, and Seth and Richie are in the back in the bathroom, right, holding Julia Lewis hostage, and he's like, he was like, "Dad, turn him in. Come on, we gotta turn these guys in, please. We gotta do this now. We have to do this." He was like saying something like that. He was like trying to talk his father into turning them in, but Harvey Keitel's character knew that it'd be a bad idea, so he didn't, which was probably the right call for the most part. We wouldn't have had such a good movie, that's for sure. But Quentin Tarantino's character won't shut the fuck up. He's like, because his brother told him that he's a nut. He called him a nut, which he is a nut. He's like, "You called me a fucking nut. You called me a nut. This is what I mean. We could never fucking agree on anything." And George Clooney's character just kind of elbows him, and he knocks him out. That was funny. And Julia Lewis's character, she's like, "Thank you." She kind of like whispers, "Thank you," and he sort of gives a nod. So it's like a moment of respect between the two, and that's what I like about this film, is there's a sense of respect between these people who are held hostage, and it slowly becomes they're like working together, they're fighting vampires, they're kicking ass. Julia Lewis grows a dick halfway through the end of the movie, and it's pretty impressive. We all know Julia Lewis from Christmas Vacation. She was in Christmas Vacation. She was the daughter. Cape Fear. If I got her name right, I don't know if it's Juliet or Julia, but she did a good job. She's very memorable in this role. I can't help but to think at the end there, when they take out the vampires and her family is dead. She's covered in blood. She's got nothing to lose at that point, other than her sanity, probably, because Seth takes off with a bunch of drug dealers and he leaves her there, and it's like, dude, okay, at the very least, you got her family killed. This was your fault still, Seth. It was your fault still. Seth being George Clooney's character, of course. It was like he just kind of told her to go home, but like there's nowhere for her to go. First of all, she's got to cross the Mexican border, and that's fucking crazy enough. How is she going to cross the Mexican border alone by herself with the money you gave her, by the way? Yeah, that's right. Seth threw her like $3,000 worth of cash. So I think that was good. That was a good deal. They worked together. They fought vampires together. Hopefully nobody is watching this that has not seen the film and wants to watch it, because I'm giving away spoilers up the ass. But this is a very old movie, so you should have watched it already. And that's not really my fault. You should have watched it already because it's very old. And again, the biggest moments in this movie: Harvey Keitel and George Clooney. Some memorable quotes in there. I didn't tell you to do what I. It was something like, I didn't tell you to. I didn't say do what I do. I said do as I say. And I thought that was a funny little line from George Clooney in there. He's trying to get, the family to drink with him at the bar. Harvey Keitel is a family man. He's trying to get him to drink with him, and they're drinking together. He's like, and Harvey Keitel tells him off. And he's like, "I want you to have a drink with me." I want you to drink with me. Come on, drink with me. And he does. They have a little shot together. That was a good moment. I love this movie. I fucking love this movie. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. It's just like it's one of those movies that I watch and I can't get out of my head after. It just never leaves my fucking mind after I watch it because there is something so haunting about this movie. It is so hauntingly done, so well done. It just stays engraved into my brain. It's like one of those movies. I don't know how to put it into better detail other than that. I mean, it just stays with you. It's gripping. It's gripping. I have to give it the Death Proof as well. A Death Proof, Grindhouse. Yeah, I mean, Quentin's done some good shit. Kill Bill. I'd say this is some of his best work as far as acting as well, because he does play a good psychopath portrayed by. He does play a good psychopath, Richie, our character. Very memorable. Very. I can't see a damn thing wrong. Some people had a problem with the vampires at the end there. I don't get that issue. I don't get that complaint. I'm a big horror fan, so it's really interesting to me when you can mix. You have such a crime-filled drama at the beginning. It's like a crime drama at the beginning, and then it slowly becomes. Sorry. It slowly becomes a vampire flick, and that's just kind of unique. That's kind of a treasure to me. It's kind of a gem. It's memorable. It's very, very memorable with the way they end up sticking together. Seth becomes close to this family. He starts to care for this family. It's like one minute he's got a gun to their head, and another minute it's like he's fighting so hard to not care, but he does, because you can see that the Seth character has a sort of moral compass compared to his brother Richie, who's sort of like out of it and psycho. Quentin Tarantino is brilliant. He is really brilliant, especially in this movie. The man knows how to act, and I think it's kind of scary how well he does it. It makes you think, is he really this guy? He does a good job. All the work that was done in this film was done well. From the vampire makeup effects to the blood effects, the gore effects. There's some creature effects in there. I think at one point there's like I don't know if I remember correctly. There was like a disintegrating body, and there was a creature that like came out of it. But with the fight in the bar with the vampires, I remember a lot of memorable practical work. So I can appreciate practical work that is done without computer effects. Um, Harvey Keitel is brilliant. He's an awesome actor. I've seen him in a lot of. I saw him recently in something else. I don't remember what it was, but he just does a good job here, man. He does a great job. Julia Lewis does a great job. The brother, he was there. He wasn't very memorable, but he was there. He's got a squirt gun at one point. He's able to squirt some vampires, so that's cool. He's got something to do, but it's not a lot like Julia Lewis's character. Like, she's a great actress. You can feel how she gets close to Seth's character. It's like Seth's trying to get them to drink with him because they're in the bar, and he's like, All right, who's drinking with me? Come on. Who's drinking with me? Come on. Yeah. And Julia Lewis drinks with him, but like the brother doesn't, and Harvey Keitel's character doesn't. So Julia Lewis sort of forms this, I don't want to say daughterly, this bond with Seth. And you know what the sad part to me is? Before Richie could fucking redeem himself, he's dead so fast, man. He dies so fast. Too fast, man. I don't know. Too fast. Quentin Tarantino, that's he's such a brilliant actor, and it's like he dies so fast, and they could have done more with him in terms of maybe he can redeem himself a little bit because he's this perverted psychopath. Maybe we could see the good guy in him too, not just Seth. But you also feel very sad about Seth losing his brother to the vampire horde in the bar, and Selma Hayek, of course, shaking her little hootie. Um, those are all bonuses. Um, other than that, I can't think of too much criticism other than the brother. What the hell was with the fucking Chinese brother? There's like nothing. There's nothing other than a moment in the beginning when George Clooney takes him and his son hostage, and he's like, "Are you two a couple? So what's the deal with you two? Are you a couple of fags?" He's like, "No, he's my son." Harvey Keitel says, "No, he's my son." He's like, and then George Clooney's like, "How does that happen? He's not even Chinese." Or something like that. And then Harvey Keitel's like, he's not Chinese, he's Japanese. And George Clooney's like, "Oh well, I'm sorry for," he said something sarcastic. And a little funny there's funny moments like that that make it work very well between the characters, that make it very intriguing and interesting. It makes me want to know their backstory. The same as when Harvey Keitel is driving the trailer and they're on their way to the Mexican border, and George Clooney pulls out a picture, and it's a picture of Harvey Keitel and his wife, and he's like, "Who's this?" He's like, "My wife," and George Clooney's like, "Okay, um, is she dead?" And he's like asking questions, and he cares about the character, he cares about the backstory, he cares about his life. You could tell that they hit it off along the way. They sort of become friends. They're friends, but they're not. If that makes any sort of sense, they're friends, but they're not. And I just think that it's more interesting that way because we had characters who were criminals and psychopaths, and they were able to redeem themselves. They were able to do something good. They were able to connect with a family, a sort of Christian family, whatever you want to call it. As George Clooney says later, "Are you a quitter or are you a motherfucking servant of God?" It was something like that. "Are you a motherfucking servant of God?" And Harvey Keitel says, "A motherfucking servant of God." So there's cool little lines in there that are very cool and intriguing, memorable. So much fun. There's so much fun in this movie. There's a lot of fun in this movie, whether you like it or not. When you watch it, it is quotable. There's so many lines in there that are sort of quotable in terms of dialogue. The dialogue is just. The dialogue is crazy well written, which would make sense since Tarantino had a lot to do with especially the first half. I don't know if he did the third half or the last half or whatever he did. Sorry about my hair. Whatever he did well. just from the relationship between him and his psychotic brother to he knows he's sick. He knows it. From the relationship between his brother to the relationship between him and Julia Lewis's character and Harvey Keitel. I do think Harvey Keitel is great in this film. Great. A great father figure, very strong. You can tell that he's a silent man. He thinks before he speaks. But when he speaks, he fucking means every word he says. And that, we're bringing him, a character like him, together with a character like Seth, who's sort of deranged but also has morals, a moral compass, unlike his brother. It's interesting to bring those two together and form dialogue. So yeah, I mean that's my review for From Dusk Till Dawn from 1996. My review is you couldn't have had a better cast. You couldn't have had a better movie. Other than my only complaint when at the end Julia Lewis should have went with George Clooney. She drives away in the RV. Where the fuck did she go? Where'd she go, man? I was worried about that character. I was very worried about that character. Because where'd she go? Did she move on? Who'd she tell? Is she okay? Did she cross the border? There were so many questions I had. But I used my imagination, and I think she passed through. And she got a new life and got a job. Who knows? I don't know. Hopefully, I'm using my imagination, so. That's my thoughts. I just love the end. I love how Seth cares about her family dying, and he cared about her family. He did. He really did. He's like, my brother is dead. This girl, her whole fucking family is dead. These people were not vampires. Vampires do not explode from the sun. It was something like the psychopaths do not explode from the fucking sun. So you got some memorable, funny lines in there. Still, just so George Clooney. This would be his best movie. You could chalk it up to One Fine Day, but in the end, I think this would be his best movie because you have some great Quentin Tarantino dialogue in there, and the Quentin Tarantino half you could tell was the first half for sure. Robert Rodriguez worked on the third half, and I think he had a lot to do with the makeup effects, and as well as Tom Savini, who was in there as a nice cameo. You had this sort of belt, and there was a vampire, and the belt opens up, right, and it shoots bullets out of it. I don't. It's like a Mexican fucking bullfighter motherfucker. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have much complaints other than the brother could have had a better role. The brother did not have much to do. Again, he was just kind of there. It was just boring. It was very boring. I know that sounds cruel, but there was nothing really done with him, and he even dies. He gets. I don't want to give away too much, but watch the movie if you have not seen. Which this is 1996. Nah, I don't fucking spoilers. I'm not spoiling anything. This is already spoiled. Okay, it's 1996 for God's sakes. Just watch the movie. Do yourself a favor. Watch it. It's very good. It stars George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino as criminal brothers. They hold his family hostage. They go to a bar in the middle of the desert, Mexico. and the bar is cluttered with vampires. At the end, you see the little twist. It kind of gives you the creeps. You'll see what I mean. Um, From Dusk Till Dawn is amazing. Amazing. One minute I'm cheering on George Clooney and I'm laughing, or I'm just in suspense, like, no, go there, go. It's just like, it's great stuff. And the beginning, that actor from the beginning is a guy I know very well. I saw him recently too. He was in an X Files episode. He was in Hardball with Keanu Reeves. He was in. What else was he in? I saw him in something else. I know I did. It was Hardball. It was the guy from the beginning that they set him on fire. I always felt so bad for that character. He's like still shooting. I want to get his name here because I do like him. It matters. No. Stop it. Yeah, I mean, you get a big cast. You got Quentin Tarantino. Who's DJ? Is it the son? Wow. You got George Clooney, Selma Hayek, Danny Trejo, which everyone seems to love. I like Danny Trejo. I'm not a big fan of Hatchet. I mean, Machete, but Madison Davenport. Who's that then? That's gotta be about the show, right? Tom Savini, Harvey Keitel, Robert Patrick, but Robert Patrick's in the sequel. I know that. Juliette Lewis, and Juliette Lewis is like right at the bottom. What, what's with that? Why is she at the bottom? She's a better actor than all the other females. Ernest Liu, who's the Asian brother. Fred Williamson. Cheech is in it from Cheech and Chong. Actually, he has 3 fucking roles in the movie. It's like, what the fuck? It's like they give this guy 3 roles in the fucking movie, and do they expect us not to fucking notice it? It's like, okay, I just saw this guy delivering pizzas. Now I see him as the fucking sheriff. Okay, now he's the border patrol agent. It's like, what the fuck? John Hawkes. Yeah, John Hawkes was the guy in the bar and the store in the beginning who was set on fire. I I like that actor. I really like that actor. He's done a number of movies. He's done quite a bit actually. Hardball, The Perfect Storm. He was in a. I have a list here. Identity with John Cusack and Ray Liotta. Hardball again. Hardball. I like. That's a Keanu Reeves favorite. So he was in a lot of stuff. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence. Oh yeah, he was in Rush Hour. That's right. He was. Was he? I don't remember seeing him. What scene was that? Huh. I have to watch Rush Hour again. I don't remember that, but Um, I would say that out of all of other vampire movies like Fright Night and The Lost Boys, or even Buffy or Blade, there was another one I was thinking of. Oh, that's right. It's fucking this. This is definitely the more memorable one. So, out of all of them, that's just something so haunting. It'll stick with you. It's very hard to let go of. It's very haunting. Do give From Dusk Till Dawn a watch. It's This movie is a classic masterpiece. From the acting to the story building and the character development and the practical vampire makeup effects, and there's some good gore in there, and you got Tom Savini, you got all these interesting cameos from Dan, whether it being Danny Trejo or Tom Savini, a legend, and Harvey Keitel's a fucking like a big bad fucking dad mode when he tells Seth off a lot. He tells off George Clooney's character. When he tells him off, you could tell that George Clooney's character respects him though. He's not against him. He doesn't want to kill him. Maybe he does, but he won't. He makes no attempt, because at this point they're in this journey together, and they got to make it work, you know. So yeah, that'll be my review for From Dusk Till Dawn, a classic vampire masterpiece of a fucking movie. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. I had to talk about it a little bit because I watched it again recently. It's just like it never gets old. This movie does not fucking age. You know how you go back and you watch some movies and they age poorly. This is not one of those. This aged well. Despite some of the sexism, I don't know, but who cares about that? If you're offended by a stripper, just go fucking. I don't know, man. If you're offended, nah, I don't get it. I don't want to say anything mean. But I do love From Dusk Till Dawn. I do love it, and you can go ahead and sort of pull the meatballs out of your fucking ass if you feel so um, like you have to do that. I mean, meatballs sound good. I think I'll make spaghetti tonight. Yeah. Sorry, this was unnecessary. Okay, anyway, yeah, no, that's my review. Sorry, and do give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you for watching.